Join that fine music.
Came a little early. I came a little early. I was waiting for usually it's more fade, but
Yeah, but this is it's fine. It's just fun to enjoy the music.
yeah, that's what I was
It's
grooving.
a wonderful song.
It's Wednesday. Weather's nice. Called a vibe. Feeling it. That's a little cold open for the people. Welcome to Pick6 Central, presented by DraftKings. You ever played the over-under game with your friends? You know, I think you eat that slice of pizza under 30 seconds. I know it'll take over a minute to down that two-liter. If you have, you're going to love Pick6, new fantasy game from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. Here's how to play during the NBA playoffs. They also have baseball. It's super simple. First, download DraftKings Pick6 app, then pick between 2 and 6 players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat like rebounds, points, assists, etc. Track your picks and play against others for a shot to win huge cash prizes. That's all there is to it. We have Bosco right now is on his way to New Mexico to play the DraftKings Pick6 app. I went to North Dakota. You went to South Dakota. We had a fantastic time. We both did well. We're safe. Don't have to go to Alaska.
We both did very well. Yes.
Did great. Smitty did great.
Did very well too.
Marty was atrocious.
Awful, horrible,
Right now,
embarrassing.
he's in the driver's seat to go to Alaska, but Rico does need to beat him to not go to Alaska. But if he gets to go to Alaska, you get to play the DraftKings Pick6 apps. And for all first-time Pick6 players, new customers play $5 and get 50 in Pick6 credits. Play the Pick6 from DraftKings, new fantasy app that packs more fun in less time. Download the DraftKings Pick6 app now. Use code PICSCentral. Code PICSCentral. New customers play $5 and get 50 in Pick6 credits. That's code PICSCentral only on DraftKings Pick6. The crown is yours. Bosco's got to be miserable right now, though.
Yeah, I was talking to him a little bit yesterday. I don't think he's particularly thrilled. I do think he's a lot happier that Marty got one. I think before Marty got one, it was a different Bosco, a more nervous, anxious Bosco.
But he's still just as anxious.
He's very worried.
If Marty had gotten 0, he'd be anxious.
I think that's true.
Because he'd be thinking in his head, let's call a spade a spade. Not the best gambler. Had a tough time the last,
10 years.
12 years. So this could be a problem, but he needs to get 2.
Yep.
That's the only thing. New Mexico, like I said, we had to go to the worst states, if you will.
We
had the last picks.
Yeah, we did,
but Albuquerque, at least it's a legitimate city.
Yes.
I'm gonna say big-ish city.
It's pretty big-ish. They have a AAA minor league baseball team, right?
What do
that's a good way to look at it.
Are you good with like populations? Are you like? Would you know? You think you know the population?
Let me guess. I would guess
I'll look it up.
I would guess 387,000. 387,000.
I haven't looked yet.
I have not looked.
I'm gonna guess. I think it's less than that.
All right.
I'm gonna guess like 190.
All right. I like those. I think those are 2 solid guesses.
I'm gonna guess 190. Albuquerque,
of course, if you like Breaking Bad, like a lot of this, almost everything was shot there. Like Walt's house is there. Like there's a bunch of.
Okay, he was having a hard time spelling it. Albuquerque population. Oh wow.
What is it?
I was way off. You were closer for sure. Good for Albuquerque. 561,000.
Wow, that's a big
shocking.
city.
That is shocking to me.
There's more people in Albuquerque, I think, and I'm not being facetious here. It's very close in population, I'm guessing, to North Dakota.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the reason I guess lower is because when I went to Ohio State for the first time, it threw me for a loop when I went there and they told me that Columbus had a bigger population than Cincinnati and Cleveland combined.
Wow, really?
And I realized because
huge.
Columbus has about, I think it's like 900,000, 850. Wow,
it's that big, huh? I've never been.
And Cincinnati and Cleveland are both each under, like, they're like 350, 400, like ish.
Isn't that crazy, though? That Columbus
blew my mind because I just think, like, obviously Columbus, really, Ohio State is like their pro team, kind of.
Yeah, they have the Blue Jackets.
They have the biggest stadium, everything. But obviously, you think Cincinnati, like, they have a football team, baseball
team.
Cleveland, they got football, basketball, baseball. You're like, they got to have more people.
Of course.
But they don't.
Isn't it crazy it took that long for Columbus to even get a hockey team?
Yeah.
And I know you have Ohio State. I understand you have that kind of always looming and you know.
And a big thing I will say there, they love the Columbus Crew there.
Is that the MLS team?
Like the MLS team, yeah. Like they really show out. It's surprising. They show out. There's like people actually like, go to bars for games. I think they actually were trying to move the team, and people got really pissed about it and basically bully them, or something happened where they kept it. They were trying to move it to Austin and kept it, I believe. And then they built their. I think they were the first MLS team to build like their own stadium that's just for the MLS team. Like how like NYFC used to
Yeah.
have like a stadium and this and that.
And they're building one right now, actually, for them right outside Citi Field. If you go to Citi Field, which you might be going to this week,
I'm going tomorrow.
you'll see. Remember where like those chop shops used to be? Right across the street from Citi Field, there's all these like kind of shady bodywork places that you're always like, what's going on there? I don't know. They tore all those down. It's called Willets Point. They tore all those down. They're going to build a hotel, casino, and then the crown jewel is going to be the soccer stadium.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
They're putting a casino there in Queens.
They are.
I love that.
They are. It's crazy to think that Columbus is that big. Because I'm a big baseball expansion guy, and I'm always kind of focused on that. Like, oh, what teams are going next? You always hear Nashville. You always hear Charlotte. You always hear Portland. Even Mexico City, Montreal. You never hear Columbus. Now I'm sure it's because you already have. Reds and the Guardians there.
Columbus is
Ohio
is mostly Cleveland fans.
Yeah.
But obviously have some Cincy as well. So it's just, it's so saturated. And you have like rich history there kind of with both teams. So
you do. You're right. And teams do have territorial rights. So like that's like, for instance, you'll never see a team move into Oakland because now once the A's leave, the Giants own that. So Oakland, unless they reach some sort of deal with the Giants, I'm guessing you're not going to see a team in Oakland the rest of our lives. And that's maybe a negative way of looking at it, but it's going to be really hard unless you pay the Giants off.
Yeah, I see Charlotte to me Charlotte or Nashville would make the most sense just because in the South you like basically just have the Braves.
Oh yeah, especially before the Florida teams got there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and the Florida teams Florida's obviously it's more south geographically, but they're kind of their own like.
They really are.
It's like the South.
Yes.
Florida's like a bunch of just people from the north that came down.
It's also hard to get to if you're in like Georgia, because there's no obviously look at the way far it is. It's like it's hard to get to. You can't go east or west.
Even like New Orleans doesn't have a team. Like there's obviously no team in like Alabama.
Yep. For
like
years, the Braves had, with TBS, had all that area.
There's minor league teams, though, in some of these states, like the Birmingham Barons.
All these teams have minor league teams. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like...
Yes, but no major league team, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. The South has been, I don't say ignored, but you can make a case the South has not gotten the fair shake of major league baseball teams.
I also think if you add a baseball team to, like, Nashville or whatever, like, Braves fans aren't going to ditch their team to go be fans of, like, the Nashville Sounders or something.
I don't know if that's true, Phil. Expansion can change a lot of minds.
I just don't see it. That's my personal opinion. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong.
History has proven you right and wrong. Depends on the location.
Because, when the Marlins and Rays came to Florida, no one, like, ditched their teams for the most part. Like, they don't, like, sell out.
But when the Rockies came to Colorado, the teams did ditch and became Rockies fans.
Well, but Florida, like you said, Florida's transplants. Like I think if you go Tennessee or like North or like Carolinas, you're gonna get more like people that are from like true like people that are from Tennessee, people that are from those places. Where Florida, they just come down with their Red Sox fan, their Yankees fans,
Tigers fan,
Mets fans, Tigers. Their
I guess like
all these Northeast teams and stuff like that.
A decent example, I guess, was like the Expos moving to Washington, becoming the Nationals. Like, there were some people that were Orioles fans that didn't
the whole
ditch.
area. But a lot of them did.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the area. I know Nashville's been dying for a team. I think when they go there, I think Phil is very much wrong with Nashville. I think Nashville will embrace the team, but some cities don't, and you see what happens.
And I think Nashville, if they can do a good job of making like the experience at the home ballpark exciting, I think you'll get a lot of people to go to games even that aren't fans of the team.
You know who did a good job with that? The Golden Knights in the NHL. Mm-hmm. They made that fan experience so overwhelming that a lot of these people who are also transplants in Vegas are now Golden Knights fans.
I'll say from experience too, going to a different sport now, but a team that did it as well, that not really new, but the Suns have an unbelievable experience.
The Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, like really.
I went to a game a couple years ago.
I know I didn't realize until after that they're known for it, but going there, me and Boss got to go. We were at the Final Four, and I was like, this is truly like an unbelievable fan experience.
And that arena's old as shit too.
It is. It's nice.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine there. Yeah.
The Suns are probably the most popular team in like Arizona, I would say, compared to all their teams.
Diamondbacks and
the Cardinals.
And the Cardinals.
I think the Suns have a larger fans.
I think certainly right now. I think if you it depends on when you look at it. If you go to 2001, no. If you go to right now, yes.
2001. That was like also early on, like when the D-backs were like a new team.
Yeah, 4 years in, but they had been to the playoffs twice. They had Randy Johnson. Like I think it depends on success. I know when the Cardinals making those Super Bowl runs, they were way more popular than the Suns.
Yeah, for sure. Those teams were awesome too, like the Kurt Warner and Larry Fitz.
Yeah, they were just picked
Golden and everybody. So we'll get back into baseball. So today, we're talking the conference finals yesterday. We're gonna do a little NFL futures, maybe some MLB futures, season stuff. Smitty, I think, might join us at some point. He might deal with some oblos. But obviously last night, Minnesota holds off the sweep.
Great game.
It's a great, awesome game. I mean, they've really all four have been awesome games. It feels crazy that it's 3-1. Like, it feels like it should be.
Both sides,
2-2.
Eastern and Western Conference Finals, have been way closer than you'd think by the games. The score of the series, if you will.
Yeah, obviously, Timberwolves come up big, 105-100 on the road. Now they go back to Minnesota for Game 5. I'll let you go for your takeaways from last night. If you think that they can extend the series further, then go win another one, merely make it a series. What were your thoughts after watching last night?
My big takeaway is that we're just so reactionary as a culture, especially with younger people on social media, where Anthony Edwards is the greatest thing ever. Then he's not good at all. It's like, no, the guy is an awesome basketball player. Stop comparing him to Jordan. Just let him be himself and just enjoy it. This guy is a superstar. Unless he gets hurt, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, he's that great. Like, there's no question about that. We don't need to compare everyone to Michael Jordan. Just relax. Enjoy the guy. And he came up big. Just gutsy, gritty win by the Timberwolves, who could have just closed up shop. They could have, like, hey, we're on the road. We could just end like this, fuck it, down 3-0, fuck this. There was none of that fuck this attitude, I felt like. Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, and especially they had literally their three best players were in foul trouble the whole night.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought
Edwards, Cat got fouled out.
Yeah, Cat fouled out.
He played great too, by the way.
He finally shot the ball really well. He got really high. He scored 20 points in the second half. When he sat a ton of it.
Yep.
He was in foul trouble. Gobert was in foul trouble. Edwards held it off late, but I mean, he had 3 fouls before the half. He had 4, I think, even like pretty early-ish, maybe like mid-third quarter.
Yep.
But no, yeah, Edwards played great. Towns had a really good second half. You know what it is with Edwards I think what it is with the younger generation, just like, and I always find myself, I feel like I'm in that.
Start to age out of it.
I always feel like I'm in a very good like middle spot where I feel like I understand the youth, but I'm still not like old guy yelling off his porch. I think what it is the older generation just obviously covets Michael Jordan so much, and they talk about him so highly. They put him on this pedestal that I think the younger generation didn't get to watch him at all. Even someone like my age, I'm going to be 30 this year.
Right.
I didn't get to like truly watch him. My watching Michael Jordan play basketball with my own eyes was on the Wizards.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
He won his last championship with the Bulls when I was 4 years old. Right. So I didn't get to really see it and like understand and appreciate it in real time. But I think the way they talk about it is so highly of him. It's like the younger generation like wants to just like match that so badly.
Yeah.
So anything they think has that chance, where it was like Kobe or LeBron, and now like Anthony Edwards is young, who's like talking shit like like, oh my God, this is like the guy. He's 22 and he's talking shit to KD as he puts 40 on him and sweeps him out of the playoffs. So I think they just want it so badly. So everyone instantly just like, oh, like that guy, like he's got some grit to him, like he's a winner, like that's the guy. And it just gets so ridiculous because I mean it's the guy's 22. He's even made his first real like deep run of the playoffs this year. Like, let's just see what happens.
Yes.
There's just no reason to, like, because I almost think it's a detriment to him. Like,
I agree.
His stardom, his, like, ability to, like, evolve, because it happens to every star player. Say they did the impossible. They go, come back from 3-0, they win. Say they even, like, won a finals. They'll say, oh, he's the next great one. He's the guy. And then what happens is if you don't win one the next couple of years, and all of a sudden they'll start to tear you down, break. It happens to everybody.
No,
they do it to everyone. Where they want to let you get. It happens in music, sports, everything. Where you get to like such a high level of like acceptance, where then people want to like go contrarian and be like, you know what? I don't know about that guy.
Right.
Fuck that guy. He's not as good as everyone says.
I have a question for Clemmer. So in the 90s, when MJ was MJ, were people saying it's like, oh, he'll never be Wilt, or oh, he'll never be Kareem? Were like old heads in the 90s like saying like just like trashing the players back then?
Well, it wasn't those two, because those guys just played at different positions. You had some older guys maybe being like, because for so long it was Bird and Magic. And rightfully so. Those guys completely dominated the 80s, and they were awesome. They're both easily top 10, top 5 players of all time. So people would compare him to that. And then once Jordan had the three-peat, especially when Jordan came back, it was like, this is different. And, like, honestly, you know what? The other guy that's different is LeBron. Like, LeBron's different. Like, his longevity, what he's able to do. I guess you can kind of compare it to Kareem a little bit, but LeBron's so much better. Yeah. And So that's the thing. I have some issue with younger people a little bit in that, like, you already have your great player. You got LeBron James. This is an unbelievable run LeBron James has had. You could make a case. I disagree with it, but I understand where you're coming from, that LeBron's better than Jordan. You can have that argument. It's a fair argument to have, and both sides are right. Like, that's fine. But to crown this poor 22-year-old kid who, like, let's just enjoy it. Like, let's wait till he's 35 before we start comparing him to Jordan or LeBron or Kobe or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what I think is? I think what happens is the older and younger, they end up butting heads because I was watching actually last night I was watching Barkley had a great interview. He was on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and he asked him about kind of how he feels about like the older, younger, this and that. It's always kind of like they're at each other's necks, and his take on it, which I thought was really good, was that he feels like any like older player, you should appreciate them because they like obviously paved the way for it to get to this point where.
Right.
For example, he talked about like his rookie deal when he got drafted by the Sixers. It was 4 years, $2 million. But there were people before it, like the generation before his and the one before that, like before he credited like before Magic and Bird came around. It was like these guys were working like other jobs in the offseason.
Yeah, the NBA Finals on tape delay.
And so like coming from that to then where he's at, where he was able to basically immediately like provide for his family and like basically just totally go up in class like economically. To now where like the guys now are making just obviously like just disgusting obscene amounts of money. And I think what happens is it's the old heads are always kind of yelling at that, and then that like yelling about either they can play in this generation, they're soft, or they're like this and that. And then I think what happens is the younger generation like gets that and they're like, all right, like fuck you. And even if it's not like it's something that where an individual or a few individuals say that, and then you end up feeling like, oh, like everyone's saying that. And I think that just happens in society where it's all like, can you believe like they're saying this? Like, who's they? You know what I mean? Like, it's where you see a few tweets or you see a few people, a few quotes, and then it's like everyone's saying this or they're saying this. Like, no, a few guys said that. And there's plenty of people that are like paying homage to the younger crowd. The only thing he really talks about was the load management thing, which I think is so fair.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas like just the sheer amount, like he was like they're complaining about just like the injuries and this and that, where he's like, God, like these guys, there's people, he's like him saying, Barkley said about, he's like, you think nurses aren't tired? Like, you think they don't want a day off?
Right.
You think teachers don't want a day off? You think a mechanic doesn't want a day off? This and that. So that part really resonated because I'm sure you can obviously speak on it more. The thing that, like, my dad always preached to me was, like, Jordan, like, would never take days off because, like, I know there's some family or some kid in the crowd that they, like, saved up to go their hard-earned money to go to this game, and either dad had to take off the night shift or whatever, like, whatever the case may be, to come and see this game. And they paid a lot of the reason they came and paid for that ticket is to see Michael Jordan play basketball.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think the guys, and it totally resonates with me, but the part where I get like, I just playing a little devil's advocate for the other side is, I think, for example, like an Embiid situation, like I forget it was this year, last year, where he where people are giving him so much shit about sitting out that even when he has a real knee injury, he comes back and then like hurts it worse. Where I think like that starts to happen because you start getting so much shit about like not playing. But then what happens is then you get shit about being hurt in the playoffs and losing. So it's like the double-edged sort of like, should I appease the fans and like play all these regular season games, or should I like sit out and give myself a better chance of like winning a title in theory?
It's a complicated,
it's longer run in the playoffs.
Complicated issue, and I completely agree. So like, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So we would go to like one Red Sox game a year when I was living in New Hampshire. And if I went to that game, and I went to a Royals game, for instance, and I got to see George Brett in his last year play. It was really cool. Memory I'll have forever. What if he had sat that game out? Or, like that for no reason. Now, if a guy's hurt, that's different. But like, I go back to like, and this is the other side of it. I'm kind of like talking on both sides of my mouth. But like J.D. Drew, right, when he was in the Red Sox, he famously would go into Terry Francona's office and be like, yeah, I'm not 100% today, so don't put me in the lineup. And he's like, are you 95%? He's like, yeah, but I'm not 100%. And unless I'm 100%, I'm not helping the team. That's how J.D. Drew felt about it. Now, you could look at it both ways. Like, we're paying you $14 million a year, buddy. Like you said, like, you think all of us want to go to work every day? Probably not. But you got to fucking still, put on the uniform and go. So, but to J.D. Drew's point, is like, well, I need to put the team first, or I need to always kind of be at my best, or else I'm not helping the team. So I kind of see, and to his credit, the second it went for him, he retired. He never signed to the contract. He just walked away. So he stood by his word. But I see kind of both sides. Obviously, if a guy's injured, he can't play. But if a guy's hurt, can he play? You'd like to see him out there.
Yeah, I definitely lean more to the side of they should just definitely play more than
I think so too.
But Yeah, it's just a weird thing because I understand that it's kind of like, are you playing to entertain? Are you playing like to win? Like, what do you like? Especially with basketball, specifically, it's such like a star-driven sport. Where I think it's I think out of the four major sports in America, I think it's the one with the least rabid in terms of like being dedicated to like one fan base. Like in terms of, there's a lot of kids, especially the younger, a lot of kids are like, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Luka fan or whoever.
Right.
Like I think a lot of that stems in the NBA, where it's not as much as the other sports.
Oh, because NBA, there's only 5 in the 4, and the
I know-
superstars are so important.
I know kids that are like that would have followed Kobe wherever he went.
Well, there were kids when I was
Or
school, I would follow Jordan everywhere.
LeBron,
Yeah.
same way. Like if he just went to a different, like when he goes to the Cavs, now he's just a Cavs fan.
Yeah.
When he goes to the Heat, he's a Heat fan.
Yeah.
When he goes to the Lakers, he's a Laker fan. I think there's a lot more of that in the NBA than there is in other sports.
I always wonder what those fans are gonna do. Like they like LeBron retires or like Harden retires. Like obviously Kobe was easy. It's like, oh, you used to be a Lakers fan. When LeBron retires, where are his fans gonna go?
No, Meek. I think they pick up a new player. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Think it's become.
I think they pick up a new guy. I think it's either whether they like Shea or they like Luka or they like Ant or they like whoever.
But don't.
When Jordan retired, people stopped caring about the Bulls because there was nothing left. So just like, all right, I'm just going to now follow a new player. And maybe you know what happened? A lot of those Bulls fans then watched the Lakers because the Lakers had Shaq and Kobe. That's for real. That's what happened.
I was gonna say, and then they watch the next player. And it's like, oh, this guy isn't as good as the guy I grew up watching, and then that's
how
just
it
the
goes.
cycle of life.
It is. Yeah, I try, like, as a guy who's old, and honestly, let me defend the younger generation for a second. We didn't have social media when I was growing up. If we did, there would have been an old tweet by 11-year-old me saying, "There's no way Jordan wins a title with Magic Johnson in front of him."
And it would be the dumbest take ever.
Yeah, but it's you say that, but like in the moment, it really wasn't the dumbest take ever. A lot of people felt that way when the Bulls played the Lakers that first series.
I
Now,
agree.
I was wrong, obviously, and all of us were wrong. Jordan was, amazing. But in the moment, we didn't have social media, so younger people do. So it's almost like a disadvantage for them. Yeah, so that's not entirely fair too. So I always want to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah,
That if I had social media, I would have been just as much of an asshole,
Your
just like an
bad,
idiot.
your bad takes weren't encapsulated. Like you couldn't say like, oh, the Red Sox will never win a World Series in my lifetime, or
Right.
oh, the Patriots will never do anything. Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that will never be uncovered.
Right, I was pro Bledsoe, not pro Brady, for instance. I'm like, because like we'd seen Bledsoe for years. He went to a Super Bowl. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy doesn't even look that good.
Yeah.
Meek would have tweeted that, and then the second Brady came in, it would have deleted it so fast.
Oh yeah.
Meek, how many bad take tweets have you deleted? Got to be a few.
There's one.
Only one?
There's one very bad take that I had, which honestly I regret deleting it. I called Joel Embiid a bus after like his first 2 years of missing
Yeah.
missing
He
NBA
sat out.
action. He sat out. I called him a bus. I said he'd never do anything in the NBA. I'm partially right. He hasn't won anything, so.
He's one of MVP.
Bus would be
Probably not.
vastly incorrect.
But I mean, like in the
MVP.
moment, it's not a completely unfair take. Like in the moment, like it's not.
For the most part, my bad takes, I stand on business. I just leave
All
them
right,
up.
attaboy. All right, good for you, Meek.
So what do you think about going back to the actual series, the Mavs Timberwolves? Do you think this gets extended at all? Do you think Timberwolves go home, they win it, and force a game 6, and then see what happens?
I think that happens, and then they lose Game 6 because I think it's just tough to win on the road. They just did it. They are Timberwolves are favored by 5.
I think it was even 4.5 last night. So
I think this. I mean, also think on the flip side. Once again, talking on both sides of my mouth here. The Jimmy Carter of Pick Central today. The Mavericks have the two, most probably exciting players right now still left. I love Tatum. I love Brown. I don't know if I would call them the most exciting players. I think you could make it. Although,
Definitely not.
and of course, on the other side you have Timberwolves have exciting guys on their side, but having Luka and Kyrie, you can win any game at any time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying you're going to win every series. I think the Celtics are going to take care of business. But I don't think the Celtics are going to sweep for that reason. I think at any point in time, the Mavericks can go off. And they could go off tomorrow night. I just think the Timberwolves at home, they're gritty. They're tough. I think they can get another one.
because even last night, Kyrie didn't have his best game last night. Luka started the game very well. Didn't have like a great switch. I mean, that shot he hit at the end, I was like, are they gonna do this for real?
I know.
When he hit that and 1-3, and then crazy missed the.
Right, then he missed it. They missed it, yeah.
But the fact that they missed, but even though he missed it, they were still down 3.
Yep.
And it was Gobert they fouled. I was like, oh my god, like they.
I know.
But when he made that shot, I was like, no fucking way they might do this, because I mean he just I'm watching it. it's funny because a few years ago I was debating like jumping on the like fuck Luka train.
Yeah.
Just to almost like grab the contrarian, and then he's just too fun to watch. I don't know if we've ever seen a more like just completely offensive, like skilled player in terms of like especially with his like lack of athleticism, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, just as pure, like just the fact that he leaves so much to be desired athletically, and is just so unbelievably skilled that he's still just better than everyone else. Besides, I mean, you could count maybe a few people, and I think there's even arguments for like him being like the best or a top like 3-4. I mean, it's pretty safe.
No, there's no argument here.
So I mean, it just watching him play, just the step back threes and just the way he's able to get separation and even just get like the floaters and I mean the way he can rebound, pass. I mean, he had a triple double last night in a game where he really didn't even play like that. He played good, but not great. Like we've seen him play better.
And Kyrie was off last night.
Yeah, he didn't.
And like obviously I hate Kyrie, but like Kyrie's obviously a great player, and he was off. If he shows up, the same Kyrie we saw say in like Game 3, and we see that tomorrow night, then maybe I don't know if the Timberwolves will win. So there's a lot like that's. I wish this series would go 7. I don't think it's going to, but the fun part of the series is because of the explosiveness of both teams. There's really no game I don't think that's completely out of reach for either team. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a home field advantage matters that much. We're like, oh, this game's over. They're going back to Dallas. They're going back to Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Dallas win 2 on the road to start the series, and then you see the Mavs win on the road last night.
I think it's just because both teams are so explosive.
And the Mavs won a few games in the Clippers series on the road. They did in the Thunder series. We saw the Timberwolves, win a Game 7 in Denver. So, I mean, like, it's one of those, I agree 100%. It's not like, oh, like, they're going back home. Like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know who I would take tomorrow.
The big difference for me is no Derek Lively in Game 4, because that's a huge difference maker.
Huge difference.
Because they tried putting Dwight Powell out there for, 3 minutes. I think Lucas said, get him the fuck out the game. Yeah. And now you're putting extra pressure on Gafford to play 30-plus minutes. Maxi Kleber coming off the injury. How much can he play? Yeah, it's a big difference not having Derek Lively out there, because when he's on the court, the Mavericks usually win those minutes.
He plays with so much energy. I'm glad he brought, because Gafford, I thought, played awesome last night. He played really, really well. He had some big blocks on the stretch. He had one sequence where he just was like baby and cat.
Mm-hmm. Is Lively back Game 5?
We don't know. It's a neck sprain.
Yeah, they're not sure yet. He had some. I'll tell you, Lively had some phenomenal ice on his wrist yesterday. I don't know if you noticed.
I didn't.
Like glistening diamond studded watch. He had the pinky ring. Looked good on the sideline.
Good for him.
Derek Lively. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. If I had to call right now, I'll say it goes 6.
Yeah.
I think Mavs close.
I'm not confident.
I think Timberwolves get another one. I would just love for a Game 7. I don't even care who wins. Make it 3-3 and just chaos in Game 7.
Oh, always, of courst. Yeah, that's the best. That's what neutral sports fans want, obviously.
Clemmer should be rooting for 7 games just so they're tired.
I am, yeah.
I tweeted last time. I just thank the Timberwolves for just giving us more basketball.
I know.
If they closed out last night and we had no basketball from Tuesday to fucking next
9 days off.
So next Thursday, at least if it closes out tomorrow, it's a week, which still sucks. But it is what it is.
Imagine having 9 days of Kyrie storylines. Just picturing that.
It feels it's like a Super Bowl. It's like the bye week for the Super Bowl. It's exhausting and boring.
And crazy, that was the first closeout game Kyrie lost in his career.
Yeah, I saw that.
14-0 in closeout games.
But that's kind of a fake stat, because 11 of those were with LeBron. I wouldn't count that as Kyrie.
He was pretty pivotal.
Pretty important player, though.
I get it, but when 11 of those are with one guy, it's not as impressive.
I would just, there's another thing too we do with sport. Why is there only one player on the team that gets credit for anything? Why doesn't the perennial all-star get any credit?
We've seen Kyrie beat a leader of a team in Boston, and he wasn't winning closeout games. We saw him be a number 2 to KD. They won 1 playoff series. I think he found his role in Dallas. He grew as a person, grew as a player.
Yeah, I think very small sample set. But like you said, it goes back and forth where they obviously don't win without LeBron, but they damn sure don't win without Kyrie.
If Kyrie was the best player on a team in his prime, he probably doesn't win a playoff series. Simple as that.
I'd say that's
what?
I'd say that's incredibly.
Best player
doesn't win a
series.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like a first round series.
Crazy.
I mean, I hate Kyrie. I can't even defending him, but like that's just not accurate.
That's crazy. You don't think he's capable of leading a team?
It is. I mean,
you watch him do it for like 2 years.
I'm just saying, if he was in the 1A of a team, they weren't winning anything.
But they could win a playoff. No, but if you had his whole career, though, if we took a 15-year sample size of Kyrie Irving's entire career, you're saying if he's the best player, he wouldn't get out of a first round?
He was D guy in Boston. What was their playoff history with him as D guy in Boston?
It wasn't great.
So that's my sample.
But they got out of the first round though with him. I know they did. Let me see here.
They went to the conference finals without him.
Let me see here. I gotta
give us.
I gotta look up some Kyrie Irving stuff.
Fact check there on Kyrie for that Boston season.
He was in Boston 1 of the years he was hurt, right?
Yeah. The first year he was hurt, where they made the conference finals.
And the next year is they got out of the first round, but then they lost in 5 to the Bucks.
Who'd they beat in that first round series?
The Indiana Pacers.
Okay, so fake series, don't care.
All right, well, you can't do that.
We can't. We just speak in
can't.
show.
Any first round series is going to be like a.
I wouldn't Meek just be proven he's wrong. He's like, it doesn't count.
By the way, not only did they win that first round, they swept them.
The Indiana Pacers won 48 games.
That's who you see in the first round.
Playoff series.
But this is like the Oladipo Pacers. Like, congrats, you won a playoff series.
But hold on. No, you don't get.
You can't do that.
You don't get to do that.
I can do that.
No, you can't. I'm telling you can't. I'm not allowing you. You're disallowed.
I am doing it.
No, but you're
wrong.
not being. You're not being authentic. You're not.
No.
I'm being extremely authentic.
No. He's
not.
The problem is he's being authentic, but he's also a jackass. He's being a jackass.
He doesn't even mean what he's saying. He's not being authentic.
No, but he said that he could never win a playoff series as a player. He literally did that. That's a fact. Undisputable, unarguable. He did it. And then he just goes. And also crazy. I thought when you say it doesn't count, he's going to say like 38 wins. 48 wins is like an objectively like solid season.
And if you want to bring up,
it's not like some bum ass team.
By the way, Tatum was 19 on that team.
I mean, fucking the Mavs won 2 more games than that. They're about to be on the finals.
Like Kyrie was clearly the number one. On
I'm
that
not
team.
saying that Mavs team is not better than that Pacers team, but
you're wrong, Phil.
Just say 48 wins.
Just own it.
They're gone.
I think as a 1A player, Kyrie will not win you anything. I think he's one of the best sidekicks you could have.
I'm not even disagreeing. When we say won anything, we're talking about like going to the NBA, like winning an Eastern Conference like championship.
Also, it's in the NBA. It's gotten
first round is pretty easy to get
in
past.
the NBA. It's gotten so tough to where like if you even think back the last like I don't know, we'll just even like the 2000 like just last like 24 years.
Okay.
Say, like when you look at like every team that won a championship. Has any team even really won a championship without having like a top 5 player in the league besides
the Pistons?
No, that's what I was going to say.
I was
going to say besides that Pistons team, I don't think there's really.
And when that happened, it was weird as fuck. Even if you go 20 years before that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think
when that happened in the moment, people were shocked.
It's like even because look at the teams that win, like the Lakers
right.
with Shaq. You look at like Tim Duncan Spurs were unbelievable.
But
you're looking at like LeBron winning.
And then you go further back.
Steph Curry,
Bulls with Jordan,
Steph Curry, Durant,
Rockets with Olajuwon,
like Jokic last year. You're looking at like these teams. I mean, Giannis,
Pistons with Isaiah.
Giannis,
we can do this all day.
I was gonna say 2014 Spurs was Would you say Tim Duncan was a top 5 player in the league at that point?
No, he was older, but I would say that was Kawhi's kind of like it was weird because Kawhi didn't make an All-Star team that year. But in that series,
he wasn't Kawhi yet.
He played. That was when he became Kawhi, essentially. Like it was like basically from that point for the next like 5 years or however, even to like now.
Yeah.
He basically, I would say now he's probably not anymore because he gets hurt all the time. But that from that point on, winning that Finals MVP and winning to the next like 5, 6, 7 years, whatever you want to put the gap you want to put on it, he was a top like 5-ish player.
2011, when you say Dirk was a top 5 player in the NBA?
Yeah.
Probably close. If he wasn't, he was close.
I'm just like naming guys. Just to, like,
no, it's fair.
Fair. We're discussing.
Like honestly, you don't.
It's just very. It's like incredibly.
I agree.
Don't even hold it to 2000s. You go back to the 80s. So go back to like 1979. 80. You can go all the way back that far.
Magic Bird,
Isaiah, Olajuwon,
Olajuwon,
Jordan. Like you go through and you're like, holy shit! There always is the top 5 guy that wins.
It's like almost impossible to win a championship without having like an elite, like a top 5, not like elite, like a top 5 player.
One of the greatest.
And then also having like a top like 15-ish player as well, basically.
Really helps
for the most part. I would say most of those teams had another guy as well.
Jordan had Pippen. Magic had, for a while Kareem, and then even then, like Worthy was really good.
Yep.
You go back and you go through everyone. Isaiah maybe didn't have the best sidekick, but still had Rodman. He had a great supporting cast.
Dumars, I mean,
Rodman, Dumars, and Lambeer. I didn't say anything more like top 15 necessarily. Maybe Dumars.
I would say Dumars was probably like
pretty good. Yeah.
Not like top like 25.
You're right. You go through it all, and it's like, holy shit. It's like you always need that great player, and you always need that sidekick.
I was funny because there was something when you said called Kyrie a sidekick. There was something about it like just like rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. And I understand it's like the truth, but it's just something that feels like demeaning to be like a player of that caliber. Like he's like a sidekick.
But Scottie Pippen never should have been a side, or was better than a sidekick. But
That's what I'm saying. Like these guys, like think like Kobe and say they call Kobe like a sidekick.
Yeah,
averaging like 25.
But he was
points. You are like you're the number.
Paul Gasol was a great player.
To me,
he was a sidekick
for sure. But to me, it's almost like a more like a 1A 1B is like the. I don't know. I know it's like
semantics.
I'm talking semantics, but there's something that like a sidekick of a player that caliber that's like doesn't like feel right to me. I don't know why.
Clemmer, 2008 Celtics. Did they have a top 5 player in the NBA? Or was that just a really, really good team, top to bottom?
You could make a case KG was on the fringe.
They had like 3 top like 30 players, top 30 probably.
I didn't say maybe even top, maybe Allen top 2 in the top 20 for sure with Pierce and KG, and then maybe Allen was top 30. And then you had guys, and then you also had just a deep team.
Rondo.
Rondo was a second-year guard. You had James Posey, who at that point was defensive lockdown. Big Baby was like a rookie, a nice guy to have off the bench. So like they had all these supporting casts that was pretty effective.
I would say so. I want to get into obviously it's the summertime. Only got basketball, baseball, or basketball's wrapping up. Only have baseball. I want to do a little futures. I had a few. Obviously, I told Clemmer prepare someone do some NFL, some baseball. Yeah. We'll do NFL first and wrap up with baseball before we give our baseball picks. So I had a few that I was looking at for football. I was looking at Super Bowl. I was looking at some like two or not to make the playoffs. A few like regular season, just like either leading for rookies, leading categories in yards, seasonal stuff with like everybody leading yards. I'll go first. A few right off the top. So. One that stood out to me right away was to make the playoffs. Was the Browns are plus 150 to make the playoffs, and that was kind of surprising to me. Obviously, they made it last year. They have a really good offensive line, very good defense. I'm surprised. I understand the division's very good,
right?
And I understand that's probably where the number is coming from. And the fact they were able to catch lightning in a bottle a little bit.
And the AFC is so stacked.
Flacco and the AFC stacked. It's only getting better. Flacco, obviously they caught lightning in a bottle a little bit with him at the end of the year when Watson was like officially out for the season. But to me, them being plus 150 to make the playoffs, I think that's a good. I was just surprised by it. I think I'm going to bet it. I think it's a good number.
Just for clarity's sake,
to make the playoffs.
The Browns are plus 600 to win the division.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where that plus 150 comes in, where like, even the Steelers are plus 850. The Bengals are plus 145. The Ravens are plus 130. It's just that division, the Steelers having Russ now, like, they could be decent, and they're always 500 at worst. Like, that division is so stacked.
And I agree. And to me, and obviously I think, like, Burrow, if he stays healthy this year, like, I think they're obviously great. I mean, the Ravens should be, like, one of the Super Bowl favorites again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they only improve. They bring on Derrick Henry.
You can make a case the Bengals should be, too.
They lost a little bit on defense, but I think their defense should still be incredibly elite.
Yeah.
I just see that in things that I just trust. And Chubb had a really bad knee injury last year. They still able to run the ball well. Even if he's not, like, 100% early, I think by, like, mid-season, I think he will be. Kind of like, I think, like, kind of how Breece Hall was last year. Well, you'll see him, like, get his gear maybe week 7, 8. You'll start to see it. But good defense and a good offensive line, like, I'm willing to trust kind of year in and year out.
I think the other problem is that Deshaun Watson's just such a mess.
It totally,
even when he plays,
totally
he's not
fair.
good.
It's totally fair. I'm done kind of I guess I never really bought like totally back in on him, but I think he did have some like decent games. He had some bad ones too. But I think the cohesiveness that hopefully they'll build this offseason, like another offseason, I'm like at least just for my bet, I'm saying I'm like hopeful that they that he'll be better, that the receiving core will be better. Obviously Amari Cooper and a lot of guys over there. I feel like Njoku had a huge year last year, like big like jump for him. And a guy that weird like came in the league at 20, so it feels like he's been in the league forever. He's still only I think like 27 or something like that.
Yeah,
really young still. So I really like what they have over there. I think Stefanski's a good coach. I just think it's kind of a like I was just surprised. Like I thought it'd be more like a pick-em-ish. I was surprised that there would be 150. So that was one I really liked. What else? What do you got? We'll go a little back and forth.
Yeah, I have the Chargers under 8.5 wins.
Okay.
I don't think this Chargers team is that good. They obviously lost a lot of high price guys.
What was the number? What was like the juice on that?
Plus 130.
Because so I'll jump in just because I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
I took Chargers not to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Minus 110. It was a pick 'em. So respectfully, I almost feel like that's a better way to approach it. Because they
you know they can't win the division, right?
Like highly likely not.
Right.
And the AFC is so stacked that I feel like I
think you might be right. I think that is a better way to look at it.
Because I feel like they could go 9-8 and still not make the playoffs.
I don't see them doing either. So I guess on the flip side, I think you're right. I think it's probably a safer play the way you're looking at it. But if you're really confident this team stinks and you want a little extra juice, get that plus 130. I just don't see. I mean, look, I like Herbert more than some other people on the show too. But I don't, and I think Harbaugh's gonna be a great coach for them. I just don't think this year is it.
I do too, and as much
unless I'm missing these depth guys they have that are going to replace these high price guys they got rid of that are better than I think. But
yeah, I think the one thing he did well is I think picking Joe Out was really strong. I think they had like Rashawn Slater's like a very good tackle, and I think putting Joe Out on the other side, I think now you have two like young bookend tackles. I think to build on going forward. Which Harbaugh's talking about as much as obviously I've had my beefs with him over the years at Michigan. I'll take my Ohio State hat off. I respect very much the way he like approaches football. I respect, and I think it's like just the right way where he's very big on like you can't build a house without a foundation.
Makes total sense.
If your team, if you have a bad offensive line, what's the point of having star receivers and good running backs and this and that? If obviously they have the quarterback. I know we like to joke, like Mark likes to joke. I like to kind of more troll about Herbert than anything. Herbert's obviously incredibly talented. I think Harbaugh is potentially the right coach for them to finally like put it all together going forward long term. But I just think year one there's a lot to clean up.
And I think he'd even admit that. If you got like injected him with true serum, he'd be like, and that's why he went and got an offensive line. You're absolutely right. I also think that's the right way to build a team. I think he's doing everything right. This is not an indictment on the Chargers' future. It's just this year I don't think they're going to be good.
And I think the defense still has a lot of work to do. I think they have some pieces. Like I think Joey Bosa's good.
Oh yeah.
Derwin James is good. He gets hurt a little bit, but he's obviously like very good safety. So I do think there are some pieces there to like build on going forward, but I just still think there's a lot of work to do on defense. They drafted Ladd McConkey, who I do really like. Like I think he's going to be a very good NFL receiver. But they're just very bare at that position. Like they have Quentin Johnson they took in the first round last year, who was not good year one. They really need him to make a big jump.
Yep.
But yeah, I think they're going to be better, but I just don't think they're going to be like
I didn't know they're going to be better.
I don't think they're going to be playoffs better.
I don't know if they're going to win. What did they win?
Well, the last year
Herbert
got hurt. They were awful. They were the fifth pick in the draft.
I don't think they're going to be that much better. I think they'll be closer to fifth than not.
I just think I would be surprised if they legit only won like 5 or I think they win like 7-8 games. I don't think they win 5 or 6. Which I know I'm talking, but I think in NFL like 2-3 more wins is significant. So I'll say like I do think they improve.
So like a lot of that too has to do with how you feel about the other teams in that division. So obviously you have the Chiefs who are minus 225.
Yeah.
But then you have the Raiders plus 1200 and you got the Broncos plus 1500 to win the division. I guess it depends on how bad you think the Broncos and Raiders will be if the Chargers could get some cheap wins there.
I believe the Raiders will be better. I'm a Giants guy. I love them.
I think the Raiders are going to be better than the Chargers this year. Is that
No, I don't think that's crazy. I think so too because I think their defense improved. I mean, them signing Christian Wilkins, I think is going to make their defensive front ferocious. Having him and Max Crosby, who are you going to double? Those are two guys that you need to double. What the fuck are you going to do with them? And I mean, just on offense, I think people have kind of made fun of me for it. I really like Gardner Minshew. And when I say I really like him, I'm not saying like he's going to set the world on fire. I'm not saying anything, but I think he is a really solid quarterback that I think you absolutely can win with. I think he proved that with the Colts last year. They were literally like a play away from making the playoffs and winning that division.
He's the definition of adequate.
He's just like a very solid quarterback, a lot of experience. I think if you remember, we talked about like kind of quarterback fits like last summer. I sat in this year and I was like, I think he is like the most Raider player I've ever seen. Maybe it's because he just looks like Ken Stabler. He's got like kind of the long hair, stash going kind of thing. He's got that vibe to him. Like he looks like he could just stick a cigarette in his hand that would just fit.
Well, this is a play to kind of. I'm curious your take. The line on them is 6.5 wins for the Raiders.
See,
Over 6.5 is minus 135, so it is a little juicy. But
yeah, I like that over. Like
I do too, right? Especially in that division.
I think they're going to be in a spot where I think they compete for a wild card. Like, I don't know if even they. I think they're a team that's like that fringe. Like, I think they're like an 8. Like, I think they could win like 8, 9 games and be like right like on that cusp. Maybe not make it be like a team that's like in the hunt graphic to like week 17,
right.
18.
So then I'm confused. So me and you are on the same page on this. I feel like the book currently has the Chargers where the Raiders should be and the Raiders where the Chargers should be. And it sounds like you agree with me.
I do.
And then if that's the case, then like what are we missing?
I think they're just seeing there's a massive discrepancy at quarterback, granted.
Yes.
So I think that, and I think they're obviously seeing both new coaches. I know Pierce coached like the second half or whatever the season last.
Yeah.
But I do.
Well, actually did a nice job with them.
He did very good. I mean, you had guys like Max Crosby literally being like, if you don't sign him, like basically trade me.
And the rest of that team could have they were in a tough spot. Jimmy G's gone, like whatever, was kind of relegated to the bench. They could have packed up and gone home. They could have quit in the season, and they never did.
And I mean, they played the most second half of that year with a 4th-round rookie quarterback. Him and Minshew are going to compete. I think Minshew ends up winning the job, but
I think you're probably right.
But I think O'Connell has some promise.
And if that's the case, too, the other thing, too, to look at, another reason to kind of be higher on the Raiders than I think they're getting credit for is, let's say Minshew goes down with an injury. They got a pretty good backup. Like, the Raiders are not, are they, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs next year. No, I don't think are the Raiders a good team? No. But they're better than the 6.5 line they have, I feel.
I think they absolutely can win 7-8 games.
What else you got?
So another one I did, too, is I'll say it point blank. I'm buying in on the Bears hype.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Me too.
I'm in. Them to make the playoffs minus 120.
I saw.
Call me fucking nuts. I might want to wait till maybe if the number gets better. I was looking at even like a flyer on like a Super Bowl 30-1. Now I'm talking.
All right, now you're losing me.
But hear me out.
I'm getting out of the car.
I'm talking Banana Land, but hear me out. It's a team where we talk about these teams having that moment in time where you have the low-paid quarterback with all these studs. And look at how much better their defense was last year when they make the trade for Sweat. They're basically a top 5 defense that from like week 7 on. Having more, drafting a Dunze, and bringing in Keenan Allen with Cole Kmet. If Caleb Williams is who like the NFL thinks he is,
right?
I don't see why they can't be like a legitimate threat. And considering the NFC is so much worse than the AFC.
Correct.
There's so much less to get through.
Yep.
That's kind of where my head was going. I was like, if this team can like be it, if they can be what a lot of people think they can be, and they can go win 10, 11 games and be in the playoffs, even if they don't win the division, say even if Detroit wins the division, or even the Packers, I think that's part of it too, where they're now in a good of it where the Packers.
The NFC sucks, but their division's actually pretty good.
Minnesota is like really. I think it depends on how good JJ McCarthy is. I think all the pieces are there for him, so it's a tough division as well. I think, and it's going to be going forward. I'm really more. I know I'm talking like I'm just saying like playoffs. Like
what was the line in the playoffs?
Playoffs to make the playoffs are minus 120.
Okay, so here's a couple of things I want to throw at you. The Bears. This is way juicier than I'm not going to touch this because it's too much. Over 8.5 is the line right now, but it's minus 165. But I do think the Bears can win 9 games. Now, the other reason I wanted to talk about this was the Vikings are over 6.5. That's minus 145. Me and you both seem to be high on the Bears and Vikings to be better than that.
The Vikings, I'm more. I think to me, the Vikings.
I don't think the Vikings are horrible. I don't.
The Vikings have a lot of good pieces, and it's really I think their X factor, which is this isn't some like brain buster. It's how good JJ McCarthy is out of the gate, because I think they have 2 good tackles. They have obviously Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
They have Jordan Addison, who I think is like a very very good number 2.
Me too.
And the defense they lost a little bit. That's where I'm concerned. I think the defense might take a step back. They lost like Dino Hunter went over to the Texans. They did sign a few guys too, so maybe they can be all right.
Defense wasn't great last year.
But JJ McCarthy, I think there's enough there on the offensive side where. I think with McCarthy, I know he's young and I'm not to say he can't get better, but I think you'll know a lot next year. There won't be a ton of excuses when you have 2 good tackles, you have 2 very good receivers. There's not going to be a ton of he didn't have this, he didn't have that. You had a lot of good things in front of you. So like if he just doesn't play well, I think it's more going to be on him than it is like him being set up to fail.
Yeah.
Like if you can't throw for a lot of yards and touchdowns with Jordan Jefferson or with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, then and like good protection in the front, then I don't know what you can do with anyone.
Fewest wins regular season. I'm not necessarily touching any of these, but the Patriots are plus 340. The Panthers are plus 550. And the Broncos are plus 600. Your Giants are plus 1,000.
Yeah, the thing with the Giants is I just don't think they'll. I think the defense will be good enough to like not let that not be the worst team in the NFL.
The line is 6.5 wins. Over is plus 115. Under is under 6.5 wins is minus 135. I think I might jump on that.
The under you're saying or over?
Yeah, the under.
Yeah, it's so like it's like the quarterback play is just the X factor. I think
can they get 7 wins?
I think they can. Like I mean, we were able to like sort of almost do that with fucking DeVito and like just like
that's true. The NFC's so bad.
Like we had a few games. I mean, like the Bills game we pissed away. There was a few games like
the Jets game you pissed away.
Jets game totally pissed away. Last year, and I think things were like had disaster moments last year, and they still almost did that. I think they should be better this year. I mean, they like at least they have more playmakers on offense. The defense, I think, will be like improved with Burns. And I really like they drafted Tyler Nubin as a safety to replace McKinney, who I really think is going to be a really good player. I really liked him in the Big Ten. I think it was kind of a great like chess move for them with not giving McKinney like this 17 whatever it was $1 million a year and getting a guy for probably $2 million a year that I think is going to be like almost as good basically. So I think in terms of like the value there, I think it's going to be there. But yeah, I understand people like doubting them because I mean it's Daniel Jones is probably going to play quarterback unless they want to do the money thing and Drew Lock plays, which I think is not like totally out of the question. I do believe they will play whoever they think is like the best player. Like I don't think they'll just play Lock to like.
Oh, I agree. Plus
save the money. I think
plus Jones is gone at the end of the year anyway, so why not?
I think if it gets later in the season, I could see them doing like a Russell Wilson, Derek Carr scenario where they bench him the last like 3 games.
Yeah.
If they're fucking, I don't know if they're 5-9 or whatever.
You don't want Jones to get hurt and then you're on.
That's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden you owe him $25 million next year because he tore his ACL, which he just gets hurt constantly.
Yeah.
Last year he had a neck injury, tears his knee. Like I think almost that's as much of a problem as his just like bad play, as he's never on the field.
No, that's fair. I have my future pick of the day here. It's a parlay. Niners to win the division, Chiefs to win the division. It's plus 118. I don't see anyone beating either of those teams for the division. I don't even see it in a fantasy.
What was the parlay in that? Like, what's the number?
Yeah, it's plus 118. It's the Niners to win the division and the Chiefs to win the division. Plus 118.
Obviously incredibly chalk, but I honestly kind of like it because I tend to agree with you.
I just think the competition in their respective divisions is so weak. I don't know.
I also think the Chiefs might have just fucked around and got better. I know
so
that
too.
They lost L'Jarius Sneed, which is a big loss, but I think them getting I think people are not realizing if Hollywood Brown can stay healthy, he is going to be such a fucking player for them on offense. And
Are we worried about Rice though not being either suspended for part of the season, all of the season, not being able to play? Like, where are we with that?
We're worried about. I would think they're somewhat worried about it, but I think getting Hollywood Brown and drafting Xavier Worthy, they got 2 receivers that I think can fill that gap. I think Rice is more of like a possession receiver than those guys are. Like Worthy's like just speed.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown's like a little more possession, but like kind of similar like speed guy, like deep play guy. But I think they've kind of needed that since Tyreek Hill. Obviously, they've won without it. But I still think like that. I mean, that makes them just even that much more dynamic.
Like the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos have no chance in the division. I'm sorry, there's no chance.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
And then on the other side with the Niners, you have. Let me pull it up here. Pull up the numbers here.
It's really just like if the Rams can like be that good.
Yeah, the Niners are minus 195 to win the division. The Rams are plus 330. The Seahawks are plus 700, and the Cardinals are plus 1300. I'm sorry. I don't see the Rams, Seahawks, or Cardinals.
In Rams, I mean, they just lost Aaron Donald.
Yes.
I think they're in this weird spot now where they're very prolific on offense. Like I think Kyrie Williams is an awesome running back. Obviously, Kupp and Puka Nacua.
Great coach.
McVay's a great coach. Stafford, I still believe, is very one of the best quarterbacks.
If he can stay healthy, he's still
one of the best in the league.
I'm gonna do a Meek Phil impression here and say that I think we've seen the Rams the best the Rams can be last year.
They won a Super Bowl, so we already saw the best they could be.
No, let me talk. I wish I'd not even uttered your name at this point. We will never see the Rams be as good again with this core as they were last year.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
I didn't.
Clemmer, they won a Super Bowl 3 years ago, so we can't say that.
No, you can. God damn it!
They won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. I think they're happy with whatever happens.
Let me repeat my sentence.
Repeat your sentence.
And then you shut up. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. I still hear you breathing. The Rams will never be with this core as good as they were last year again.
Like a first round, like a playoff team that gave Detroit
with this core
a run for their money but lost.
There's nothing. Now, Phil, what do you think? Do you think there's anything wrong with that sentence?
No.
Okay.
That's also not a hot take whatsoever.
I never said it was a hot take. I can. He is the most annoying, irritating person in the entire world.
Losing Aaron Donald will obviously be a big blow. I'll match Clemmer on that.
I was gonna say they lost the Defensive Player of the Year. No shit, they're not gonna be better than what they were last year.
Well, you say that, Phil, but like the book doesn't necessarily completely disagree that they're not going to be okay next year.
I think they'll still be like, when I say good, I mean like.
I'm saying they're not going to make the playoffs.
I think similar to last year.
And Phil, you know what? Fuck you. It is kind of a hot take because right now to make the playoffs, it's -110 yes, -110 no. So I'm not going to say it's a hot take because I hate that shit.
That's close to even odds. Like that's a coin flip.
Odds. Right, but I'm saying they're not going to do that. So I'm not saying. I never said it was a hot take.
Saying a coin flip is a hot take.
I never said it was a hot take. You stupid fuck. When did I say it was a hot take? You said that. I don't even speak that way.
Okay.
Okay. Go back to your hole.
I'm actually glad you brought up the Rams because I have a player future that I kind of liked with them. And it's going off Stafford. So going up kind of without my take that I think they're kind of similar to last year where I think they're gonna have a very prolific offense, but I think the defense is gonna struggle. Matt Stafford will lead the league in passing yards. It's plus 1,400.
Oh, I don't know, man. He's just not. I don't trust he's healthy. I don't think he can stay on the field.
I mean, he was pretty healthy last year, and they were the fucking rock.
Was that the last dance kind of thing?
We'll see, but I mean, in terms of 14-1 and a guy that they're going to throw the ball a ton, has two of the best receivers in the league, and I think they're going to have to throw a lot because their defense is going to give up a lot of points.
1,400, and that's the whole NFL, right?
Yeah, but I mean, how many guys can really lead the league in yards? There's really only, a lot that can lead the league in yards.
I think so. I mean,
I would say only like a handful.
So NFL is a game of attrition, right?
I would say like the guys that truly can lead the league in yards. I would say like a Tua. I'll say Mahomes, even though they've thrown the ball.
Mahomes, Purdy.
I'll say like, sure.
Just because the weapons, yeah.
They're going to run the ball a lot, so that's when they like having. But sure. Like
Lamar Jackson, no.
No, like even like a Dak, I'll say yes, just because they can throw the ball.
Goff.
A ton. Goff, yeah.
Yeah, of course he can.
He could, yeah. A lot.
Jordan Love, no. Trevor Lawrence, you got to say that he could.
Maybe outside, but sure.
I wouldn't say Baker Mayfield, would you?
Probably not lead the league. Probably not lead the league in yards.
Would you say? I think you have 10 guys. I'm comfortable saying 10 guys.
Yeah, that's right. Because actually, the other one I wrote down, which this one may be even crazier, it's the same number, was Kirk Cousins. He was like on pace to do it. I know it was like a different situation, but the Falcons are a team that I don't really trust. I like Stafford better, like at the same number, but when I looked at the list, there were the two that I like circled.
You know what's crazy? I think I kind of like Cousins a little better, but he's coming off an Achilles. It's on a new team. It's probably stupid for me to think that way. I just don't trust in Stafford's durability. I just have real anxiety about it, where maybe I'm thinking about it too much.
It's fine, yeah, because I think he obviously 2 years ago he got hurt, but I mean he's been healthy most of his career. He has been healthy.
He has been. No. This is only just because of his age, really. No, I never thought this way when he was with the Lions. You know what I mean? I was never like this.
And he really just Super Bowl year he was healthy. Obviously, last year he was healthy, pretty much the whole season. He's really had 2 seasons where he's missed time. That's what I'm saying.
2019 Lions and then 2022 Rams.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. He's been a relatively durable guy.
You know what? I don't love the bet. 14-1 though. Why not take a flyer? Maybe I will put him ahead of Cousins then.
And then I'll say that last week because we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
The last couple that I like. So Derrick Henry, most rushing yards, plus 1,200. He's on the Ravens now. You know they're going to run the shit out of the football.
I just worry Lamar's going to take those carries. You know what I mean? Like,
But they run the – that trust me, that was a thought I had. They just run the ball so much
they do.
that I really don't think – like, I really think they're in a place where – like, you have like McCaffrey where he's going to – obviously he's going to get a ton of rushing yards, but he's going to get a ton of receiving yards. So, like, his yards are very much split up where, like, Henry, like, you're just sticking the ball in his chest and saying, go.
Yeah.
And I actually think that this offense they're going to run is going to, like, fit him very well. With Lamar, I actually think it's going to give him even more opportunity. So that
he might also keep his legs fresher too if Lamar's running a lot.
Yes, and
which could help the long term.
I think he'll have some big, and they're going to team that's going to have a lot of leads. They're going to run the ball a lot. He's going to be their closer. Like I think he's going to get the ball a lot. So Henry 12-1 was one I really liked, and then I'll just say two were so regular season rookie receiving yards. Keon Coleman plus 600. I know it's almost because he's kind of. I almost think this number's gotten juiced or went down because he's become like the media darling, but he's a phenomenal player. Josh Allen wanted him, and they have no fucking other receivers. They have Curtis Samuel, they have Khalil Shakir, they have Kincaid, and they have him. Like he is the guy.
They have no other receivers. I was shocked that
like
they're currently the favorite to win the division.
Like he's going to be the one. Like he's going to be basically the one. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is plus 175, and I get that he's unbelievable. And he's another one where he's going in a spot with Cardinals where he's going to be like the one receiver. So I get that, but if you're looking for a little value, and then this one's like no value, but Caleb Williams to lead the rookies in passing yards is plus 100. If he stays healthy, I almost don't know how he doesn't do it.
What? That's Caleb Williams to lead rookies in passing yards is plus 100?
Well, because you have like Jaden Daniels,
Drake May,
who I think I think that's gonna be a bad situation year one. Jaden Daniels, I think is like will be. I just don't think he's gonna get that many opportunities to throw like that.
You know college football, more in your pinky toe than I know in my whole body for sure. That makes, from what I'm saying, that makes no sense.
To me, if they're all healthy, I would be just really surprised if it was not Caleb.
Is the thinking being that Caleb Williams is on a better team, so then they're throwing less in the second half?
That's
these other quarterbacks?
With Jaden Daniels, he's plus 250. Like he's the next closest, or next like lowest odds.
I'm taking that pick.
Commander,
plus, I think it's a fun one to keep track of all year.
The Commander should be bad. But even he's a guy, I worry about him getting hurt more than Caleb Williams. The problem with Jaden Daniels is if you watch in college, he has takes some meme hits, and he's kind of thin. Like he relies way more he's way more Lamar Jackson. So
then he's not going to pass as much anyway. Then he's not going to have the same yards.
Like last year, he threw at LSU. He threw for 1 billion yards. It's a grand because you can say Joe Burrow, same thing. He had Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, arguably two of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, where he had Neighbors and Brian Thomas, who were number 6 overall pick and the number 20 something overall pick, 2 first-round draft picks he was throwing to.
I'm taking that. I'm right.
I
think that's a fun one to keep track of.
To me, I like that. I just think he does it. We'll save the baseball.
One last quick thing. The Bills are the favorite to win the East, which is crazy. I mean, it's plus 170. The Jets are plus 190. The Dolphins are plus 200. So obviously 3-horse race. With Patriots plus 2,500, which is funny to me. But I think the Jets have their easiest schedule in a while. Obviously, that's a big procrastinator bullshit thing. But they've added weapons. Rodgers, you have to believe, will be healthy. Now, will he be the player he was 2 years ago? Probably not. But how much of his game was he going to lose? I don't know. I don't know. I think the Jets, with all the losses the Bills have taken, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I think the Jets should be the team to beat the AFC.
I have so much PTSD because I was all in on the Jets last year.
Welcome to my world.
And it burned it. And me doing it having no fan involvement, just truly believing in Rodgers and what they were trying to build. So I almost feel like this year I'm hesitant, and that's almost feel like that's knowing me, I'll be back off and then they'll be great. I really believe he'll be just as good as he was 2 years ago.
I think so too.
That's how I feel. That's my genuine thoughts on it, but we'll see. We'll wrap up the show. Clemmer, what do you got for picks today?
Yeah, I like the Royals money line. Seth Lugo is really good. It's plus 110. I take that early win promo on DraftKings. I'm on the Pirates money lines. The game 2. Skeens is pitching, and the road team, so you can get that win. And then I like the Cubs first 5 innings. Shota. As long as they have the lead at the first 5 innings, it's minus 105. And my pick of the day, Meek does not like this pick. Blue Jays over 4.5 runs. You got Chris Flexen pitching for the White Sox. The Blue Jays have been scoring against these shitty teams. What the Blue Jays do, they're a fraud team. Phil and I both agree with that. And they beat up on shitty teams, and then when the good teams come to town, they curl up in defeatal position. But I think the White Sox are so shitty, Chris Flexen is so shitty, the Blue Jays get 5 runs. What do you think, Phil? Are you still against this pick?
I just hate it because I could easily see the Blue Jays losing this game like 3-1 or just they're a hard team to trust. That's all.
They are a hard team to trust.
Like they should score 8 runs on the White Sox. They should.
We both know Chris Flexen very well.
But that's the Blue Jays. It's like they should do this, they should be this, they should be that, and then they're just not.
I can't argue that at all.
So that's just my take.
No, that's fair.
So yeah, we actually are aligned with you. I really like the Royals. I'm on the Royals money line plus 114. I'm out to the Cubs as well. I'm on the Cubs at minus 135. Shota's just been unbelievable. And then I do a little chalky parlay. Braves Yankees money line parlays plus 147. Yankees tonight, even I may even take the Yankees run line by himself minus 1.5. Luis Gill's just been unbelievable.
Tyler Anderson's been good too.
Yeah,
but the Angels lineup, but the Angels somehow won that game yesterday, which is insane.
Crazy. Nestor pitched decent again, and they just. Yeah, they fucked it up.
Hill has been so good for you guys.
He's just been.
I can't imagine the Angels win 2 in a row.
I really think Gill. If there wasn't a world where Mason Miller exists almost any other year, Gill would be like the running away with the AL Rookie of the Year. I think he's been incredible, but Mason Miller has probably got it in the bag right now.
I would think so.
But I know I was paying attention to it. Like Gill, 2 weeks ago was plus 1,500. I think now he's plus 400 or something like that, 500.
It's not out of the realm where Miller gets traded to a National League team.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he gets traded, Gill all of a sudden probably is minus 150.
What if Miller somehow gets traded? I doubt this will happen very much, but we've seen it before in the past where he gets traded to a team that already has a closer. He becomes a setup guy, and they use him in that way. I don't think it's going to happen by the way, but because they're going to have to give up so much to get him. But
I also think he would just be he's been so dominant.
I have to imagine.
He's young, I think he would just be the closer. But yeah, that's Pick6 Central. Appreciate everyone watching. Like the stream. Shut up, Meek behind the hit on the sticks.
Meek, no.
A few of the guys will be back tomorrow.
I will not be, but yeah. And then you guys talking to Rico tomorrow.
Yeah, Marty back tomorrow. I'm going to say Bosco will be tuning in from New Mexico, giving us his DraftKings Pick6 lineup. So check that out. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.